Hello and welcome to Living in Indianapolis, Indiana. I'm Evan Deal, and on a very cold winter episode, today we are going to talk through some of the common winter pitfalls here in Indianapolis. So if you're looking to move to the Circle City, you are going to want to tune in. But before we get to that, be sure you leave a like on this video if it's helpful, hit the subscribe button, and ring the notification bell so that you're kept in the loop on everything happening in and around the Circle City, Indianapolis, this place we love and call home. Now let's get to it. So as you can see, it is another chilly winter day here in Indianapolis. And if you're moving here from somewhere, especially from somewhere warmer, you're really going to want to think through some of the essentials. And what could be more essential than talking about the driving? So if you're planning to work in Indianapolis and you're going to be here in the winter, unless you're a snowbird and you're going to Florida or something in the winter, you need to think through what that's going to look like on your day-to-day commute. So I used to live on the south side of Indianapolis. I worked downtown and I would commute up 65 every day, every single day. And where that got to really be a bother is during the winter, because you would have people lose their minds when driving. They'd hit a patch of ice going too fast, or sometimes the road conditions would just be such that it would cause accidents. And so all of a sudden my half-hour commute would turn into an hour commute, or I'd get stuck out there. That's something you really need to think through if you're moving here. Now, I've lived a couple different places, but most of my life I've lived in Indiana, and the salting and road clearance is decent here. It's not as strong as other places though. Like if you live in Chicago, the roads get salted really fast. It may depend on the area, but at least where I lived in Chicago for a bit, it was like, bam, the salt's there, we're melting this, no one's gonna be dealing with it. In Indiana, it can be hit or miss sometimes. It depends on where you live. So I live relatively near Hamilton County, and I see that the roads on the north side usually get taken care of pretty fast. I work downtown a lot though, especially when I'm working with investors, and a lot of those streets are left to fend for themselves, and you just see them get sort of plowed down by tires over time rather than an actual snow plow. So really, depending on where you can live can make a big difference. And if you're in an HOA community, invariably in Indiana, part of your HOA fees are going to go towards snow plowing. In fact, in my HOA, I think that's about the only thing we pay for is snow plowing. So that's going to be something you really want to look at. And when you're working with me to move to Indianapolis, we'll take a look at your commute, at what that's going to mean for you and what it could mean in winter months. But that's the most important thing, is that transportation piece, because I've said it a million times on this channel, it's so easy to get around in Indianapolis. The interstate system is great. Our connectivity to all the other states by flight or by road is top notch. It's one of the best, if not the best in the nation. However, gridlock happens in the winter, and man, we have had some icy times this year, as much of the nation has, and it can cause real issues. So it's something to be thinking about. Another thing is inside the house. So that beautiful outdoor area, that pool that is critical for you, you're not going to have access to that for a good 4 months of the year, I would say. Definitely 3 months, maybe 4 months of the year, because usually parts of November, parts of March can get a little dicey. December through February, forget about it. You're not hanging out outside. So unless you have a heated area, like a lot of new build places will have an outdoor fireplace on the porch, which is pretty cool. Usually that's a bit of a higher end option, but it's a nice one. That's an option for hanging out outside. But if you have a pool, if you have a screened in porch, if you have a beautiful garden or a deluxe basketball court or whatever, you're not going to have that in the winter. So when you're thinking through budgeting different items for your home, those items, just keep in mind you're only going to have them about 9-8 months of the year. So if you might need to prioritize something else. So when you're planning expansion, think through that. Also, on the interior of your home, there are a few items that are easy to overlook. Insulation is not something that's on everyone's minds, but having an insulated garage can make a really big difference. If you have a finished garage, it's going to be significantly warmer in the winter than if you have an unfinished space. So when you're loading and unloading, the kids on the way to school, is it going to be freezing in your garage, or is it going to be, kind of toasty and not too bad? If you have a garage fridge, we have a garage fridge. When it gets to be these Arctic temperatures in January, that have been sweeping the country, sometimes the garage fridge is not ready for that. And you may have, like we had, waters explode inside the fridge because it got so cold, even though the refrigerator was turned up. It's just something to think about. I mean, insulating your pipes. I had a client with an inspection response recently where on the inspection report, it talked about how the pipes weren't insulated in the garage and how they were on an exterior wall, and that could potentially cause issues. And the seller was like, "Oh, it's no big deal." However, it could be a big deal. It's not a big deal when it's not your house anymore, but if you're dealing with super cold temperatures and your house isn't properly ready to handle those, yeah, it can become a plumbing issue. Another thing are seals. The seals on your windows, the seals on your sliding doors or the door to your garage. If those are missing or they're damaged, you're gonna have heat leak out of the house. It is a big deal, and it makes a huge difference in the temperature of your house. So even small things like that, and those can be remedied, right? So if we're offering on a house together and it's missing the seal on the garage door, it's missing the seal on one of the interior doors to the exterior, like, that's not a big deal. That can be fixed. It can be fixed with a few dollars from the seller, or it can be fixed after the fact. Don't let that be something that stops you. But if the attic doesn't have any insulation, or the insulation is blown poorly and all about, and it's super old and ineffective, that could be an issue. So these are things to look for on the interior house to deal with the Indianapolis winter. And one more thing on the interior of your house is the windows. What are the age of them? Because energy efficient windows of today are going to help with your heating costs more than the really old windows of the past. They just insulate heat better, and they let less escape the house. And on that same note, you'll want to look at just the HVAC system in general. The furnace doesn't seem like a big deal when you're buying a house in the summer, but when winter comes around, all of a sudden the age of your furnace becomes very, very apparent, or how the vents are constructed in your house. Are they an older style? Are they a newer style? Do they have an elaborate system? I sold a Beezer home last year that had all these miniature vents in the living room. It was really cool how it distributed the heat. But I've also been in homes from the early 1900s that it's like they don't have much heat circulating the house at all. So when you're looking to buy a house, that's definitely something you should keep in mind. You really want to think through what that's going to be like for winter, because it can have a real impact on your life. Because winter, not to sound like John Stark here, but winter is coming every year in Indianapolis. At the end of the year, you are dealing with winter. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. Another thing that people from sunnier states may not realize is that winter in Indiana is very gray. The sun comes out occasionally, but for the most part, it's hazy gray. I mean, you can kind of see the sky behind me. That's like a normal winter sky in Indiana, especially in Indianapolis, where it's not super clear, it's not super sunny, and it's definitely not warm. So if you're someone who is really sensitive to that, maybe a vitamin D deficiency, just keep that in mind. Maybe you need supplements. Maybe you need to take a vacation during the winter to recharge during that time. It's just something to think about when you're living in Indianapolis. You won't see the sun as much for like 3 months, but then it comes out and it's absolutely beautiful, and the rest of the year is truly wonderful weather-wise. And then the last thing I wanted to leave you with is activities. So winter has a lot of fun activities in Indiana that you may not have in warmer states. There are lots of great sledding hills all around Indianapolis. There are certainly tons of Christmas activities in December. I mean, there's just tons in every different community, whether you're in Hamilton County, Marion County, Hendricks County, wherever. All the different localities have different Christmas events, different wintertime events. There's things that happen in the parks, despite you not being able to use the playground or use the facilities or the pools at different parks. There are still fun things to do, and there's plenty of indoor activities. Indiana's a state that's constructed knowing that winter's in mind, so there's always something to do. It's probably one of the reasons why we love basketball so much, because basketball is mostly an inside sport. You can play it on a court. But there's always something to do here. You don't have to worry about being too bored in winter. Just worry about how you're going to get there, and make sure you bring a coat. All right, so that wraps up our quick look at Indianapolis winter today. I hope you're staying inside and staying warm. And if you are planning to move here, especially in the winter, bring a coat. I've got a heavy coat. They're not that expensive and they make a world of difference. So with that, if you're looking to move to Indianapolis, be sure to book time on my calendar and let's talk through what that looks like. And I work all over central Indiana. It's not just Indianapolis. So if you're looking in everywhere from Anderson to Bloomington, Terre Haute, Richmond, wherever, I'm here to help you. With that, I'm Evan Deal with the Lead Icon team in eXp Realty. And if you like this video, leave a like on it, hit the subscribe button, and ring the notification bell so that you're kept in the loop on everything happening in and around the Circle City, Indianapolis, this place that we love and call home. We'll see you in the next one.